Okay, so this video is specifically for those who are currently dealing with or suffering from addiction. And why I wanted to make this video specifically about this topic, because for some reason I've noticed that it's a common thing. Or maybe in my field, I happen to come across people, situations, even stuff in my life that sucks me into a loop and makes me repeat a specific behavior that no longer remains my choice. Like a certain behavior that makes me feel safe and comforting. And I keep on doing it as a habit, which then turns into a slight addiction. And then I feel like I'm losing my power over it. I feel like it's becoming more powerful and I'm no longer choosing it. I'm no longer choosing this behavior. And this behavior is already sucking me in and controlling. I've noticed a lot of people around me suffering with certain addictions. It could be simple addictions as cigarettes. Some people reach out for alcohol more than they would like to. Some people actually have problems with drugs, prescription medicine. And I'm not here to judge or say, like, stop doing it. No, I wanted to explore this concept. And one thing is I love exploring concepts. So I wanted to look at addiction for what it really is, without any shields, without masks, like raw version of what it is. So when I've been studying it and observing it and really trying to understand what it's all about, I received an insight that I would like to share. And if it resonates, stay with me. So it doesn't matter what kind of addiction it is. It actually could be a healthy addiction, like healthy behavior. For example, even going to the gym, working out. Or it could be destructive addiction, like cigarettes, alcohol. Doesn't matter. It's a behavior that you're no longer choosing. That it's something that is already a pattern. When I look at it, it's almost like something in a person's life that feels comforting. And a person is reaching out for it to make themselves feel better than what they already are. They feel more comfort, they feel safe, and they feel more grounded. And it's almost like it becomes almost like an anchor. It's almost like this hand that reaches out and you grab that hand and you feel safe and you go with it. And it's something that keeps you here and you're not going anywhere. It feels that good to do some repetitive action. And it makes you come back to it and repeat over and over again. So how I see it, I mean, I could be wrong. It's just my perception of it. But when I was really like looking into this concept, I saw that if we divide this reality into layers, and I'm going to speak a little bit esoteric right now. If we saw ourselves as characters, as for example, it's a video game, this whole life that we're living, whatever we're dealing with, imagine you're a character in the game, or like whatever games you play on PlayStation, Xbox, like you're a character. You have a name, you have a specific past, you have a current situation in your life that you're living, dealing with. You know your past, you know your story, and you really believe in this story that you're telling yourself about you. You associate yourself with your name, with what happened to you, with the people that surround you. So this is you, this is your game. Now imagine if you shift your consciousness away from this character who has a name, who has a past, who has a story about themselves. You shift away into higher awareness as a gamer, as a person who is playing this game, who is operating the character. And then I call it the higher self. So let's look at these two layers. A layer where you're the character and a layer where you are the player. Now, when a player is looking at the character, it can observe those patterns that the character keeps on repeating, the loops. And I believe that if we're looking at this layer where there's souls, like a higher consciousness, and there's a character, I really believe that some souls come into this physical reality with more experience. They're a little bit more advanced, as if you look at childhood, teenage years, adulthood, elderly age, like those souls are a bit more evolved because they have more experience. They have more experience dealing with this physical reality, like this Earth, this game that we're playing. So when we, whatever, if you believe in reincarnation or not, it could be our first time, doesn't matter. When we come into this plane, physical plane, the souls that are already not exploring, oh my God, what is it? What is all of this mess? The souls who have already been here and they're a bit more equipped and understand what's up, they choose to come here with a specific mission. It's not even a mission, like I use the word purpose, but it's something that a soul wanted to go through, something that a soul wanted to accomplish, achieve here. And I say purpose, but it's not something that's assigned to a soul. I really believe that soul chose what it wants to do and what it wants to experience in this world, in this amount of time, while the soul is living the life of a character. And we're born, we have our childhood, we have enough time to play around, to have fun, have our lessons, whatever traumas. And when we reach a certain age, I would say around mid-30s, then the soul feels, like the higher self feels like, okay, now we have played around, now maybe is a good time to come back to that purpose and start living it, if they haven't already started. But I think that mid-30s is about the age when it's time. It's time to start looking at it, and it's time to start taking responsibility for what you've chosen in advance for yourself, for that character. And when you choose to stay asleep, when you refuse to look at that purpose, I feel like life starts hitting you in the head. And I'll explain. So the souls that are a bit more advanced, and I don't mean it from like they're better than others. No, like we all have stages: childhood, adolescence, adulthood. There's stages. So the souls that are older, more mature than others, they tend to get bored without a purpose. And this physical reality might be boring for them. These souls don't feel as engaged as others because they've already been here. They already done all of this. And they lose motivation. And I feel like a lot of souls that come here, but they already experienced this, they search for something more engaging, more interesting. And a lot of these souls choose to exit this life before they even get to their purpose, because life feels difficult for them. There's nothing that really anchors them here. There's nothing that keeps them in this physical plane. There's nothing that's strong enough to keep them here, because inside they feel emptiness. They feel lonely. Not lonely as they don't have people around, but they feel like misunderstood. They feel homesick. They feel bored. And then they choose something that keeps them grounded, something that anchors them, something that reaches out as a helping hand and holds them to this physical plane. And I think addiction is not the problem. It's a coping tool. It's a way of staying here. So the soul, before it steps into their power, before it steps on that path that they have chosen in advance on a higher plane, where they're the consciousness, where they see what they want to do here, that character is using addiction as a way to stay here. Because without it, they would probably be gone. Either they would organize like an exit point, like a car accident or a plane crash, like it could be anything. Or they do it themselves. I mean, they create their own exit. And when we're stuck in a situation, when we're addicted to something, and hopefully it's nothing like that scary, but it's something that's ruining your life slowly, I think the addiction is not the enemy. It's not something like that should be focused on. I think the focus should fall into, what's my purpose? You have to remember yourself. You have to shift away from the character and find yourself in the plane where you are a higher self. Who knows why you're here? Why this character is here? So when you're able to do that, you start understanding that when I step into my power, when I choose that path where I'm living my purpose, addiction becomes no longer relevant. It's just not needed. That anchor is not needed anymore. Now you're living the life that you chose to live. Now you're so engaged Now you're so interested in what you're doing that you don't need this helping hand. You are engaged. And then life starts making sense. That purpose keeps you going. You have energy. And life, just all areas of life starts to align because you stepped into your path. And the people who haven't done it, maybe they have battled the addiction. Maybe they stopped smoking, stopped drinking. It could be anything. They could have used discipline for that. They could have used a therapist, a psychologist, psychiatrist, like medication. They battle one addiction, but I've noticed that a lot of people who step away from one addiction, they find another one. If it's not alcohol, then it's a toxic partner. If it's not toxic partner, then it's like trips, vacations, shopping. They still are looking for that anchor, that hand that keeps them here. Because intuitively they feel like, I'm here for a reason, I'm here for a purpose. And those people who manage to find that purpose, not find, remember that purpose, they don't need to do anything to battle the addiction. The addiction is no longer the issue. And you even forget about that little action, that little substance that was keeping you here. You start living the life that's fulfilling, not just for your brain, not for your mind, but for your soul. And then those people actually who manage to go through something difficult in life and they come out with more power, with more strength, those people manage to even lead a large group of people, inspire, enlighten, bring healing, empower, and then forget what was like the life divides into before and after. So if you find yourself that you might be getting addicted to something, there's nothing wrong with you. You're just a soul that's more advanced. You're just a soul that's more mature. And you have a purpose. And you chose this purpose for yourself, but not as a character. You as a higher consciousness. You as a soul who came here to have fun and to do something useful here. But in reality, useful, it's only useful on the physical plane. On a soul level, it's just something interesting. It's something that keeps you engaged, keeps you excited. On that level, there's no good, bad. There's no scary. It's just interesting. And my suggestion, personal suggestion, if you are in search of your mission, in search of your purpose, if you feel like there's something more than what's on the surface, that there's something inside that wants to manifest, that wants to come through, ask yourself a simple question. What am I interested in? That's it. Follow your interest. Because we cannot buy interest. We can create ideas with our mind. We can create a whole story that, oh, maybe if I'm good at this, I should be doing that. But if you have no interest, you will have no energy to do it. You will always be finding excuses to step out of it. But when you're interested in something, there's nothing that can stop you. You're so motivated, you're so led by that interest that there's no obstacles. Obstacles, they just become fun to overcome because that thing keeps you going. And when we're children, we do the most random stuff, like the most random stuff. We can just like be walking in a curb and climbing a tree and like spitting in a puddle. We do it without overthinking. We do it just because we want to experience that. And we don't question ourselves. Is it useful? Is it important? Is it appropriate? No, we just do it. So the child still allows the soul to lead them, allows the higher consciousness to guide their actions. But when we get older, when all of this mess blinds us, we forget who we are. And we start associating ourselves with this character, with this name, with our past, with our traumas, with the surrounding circumstances. But that's not us. That's just a character in a game. And with this awareness, you stop wasting your energy and stop wasting your time on useless things. You stop worrying about useless stuff. You stop being afraid for things that you shouldn't be afraid of. There's no danger. You don't need to constantly survive. There's no danger. You created that concept of danger. You're okay. You're fine. And if you chose to do something, you can do it. Just follow the inner voice and follow what you're interested in without overanalyzing, without questioning why, without questioning what others will think of it. No, you know best. You know best what you came here to experience. You know best what you came here to do. But again, let's just my opinion, my little insight. But if it resonated with anyone, feel free to ask me more questions.